Hi, this is Bonnie, and today is the first day that we are sharing our sneak peeks for the Fairy Hugs Sentiments release. The stamps will be available in the store on February 15th. So today, this is my little sneak peek. I am going to be showing you how to make this adorable little fairy letter. So it'd be like you get your own little personal fairy letter from a fairy. So this is the sentiment that we will be using that's just going to be released. It is very small, which is why it makes for a perfect little fairy letter. And I was going to show you the measurements of that. It is roughly 1¼ inches wide and about 75 or 3/4. I would say 0.75 of an inch or 3/4. So that's what we're going to be working with today. And I put mine on an easel card, and if you stick around, I'm going to show you how I made this card. I am not sure if I'm going to show you the easel part or just a basic card, so which would have the same front to it, and it just allows you to be a little bit more versatile. So I'm going to show you some of the supplies other than the sentiment. I also use, I'm going to show you this little letter first. Okay, so you can see some of the things I put on there. And I also am going to show you how to make the little envelope. I used the Condo Dwellers, the Fairy Hugs Condo Dwellers. If we make the big card to put it on, I will be using this backwards. I will be using Fifi. And I will be using the Dandelion on both the card and on the letter. And I'm also going to be using Fairy Hugs stencil that is called Swirls. And these are some extra supplies. I actually had a die in my stash, but you can use a rectangle about the same size. And this measurement, just to let you know, is about 2½ by 1 3/4. And then I'm also using this for my envelope, and that measures 3-inch square. About, well, it's a little bit less than 3-inch squares. It's let's see here. It's actually 2 inches and 2 3/4 inches. So, and then I'm also going to be using 2 different types of paper. These are digital papers. But you can use any paper, but this works really well because for the letter, I wanted it to be more flexible, so I'm using regular computer paper. And then I'm using the cardstock for the actual card if we go ahead and do that too. So let's get started. Okay, so I have this all set up and ready to go. And what I'm using is Diversifying Claire Nocturne. And as you can see, this is my sample off to the side. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp the sentiment first. And I'm using the smallest, Misty because I didn't need anything really big. And I'm going to go ahead and just get that stamped. And that's what it looks like. It works out really, really well. And then the next thing is I decided to go ahead and use some Condo Dwellers, like I said. And the Condo Dweller will be up here at the top. Just a second, I'll put that there so you can see. I'm going to turn that so I can open and close it. It actually goes quite quickly to make the little letter. And then there we have our little fairy. And then the next thing I did, which I didn't really point out to you, but when you get this stamp Fifi, which I will use for this letter, is it comes with two options. You can have her blowing bubbles, or you can have her blowing dandelion seeds. So we're going to be using the dandelion seeds on here, and it's just going to come right here at the bottom. I need to move this. And it depends on where you stamp your sentiment and how it and where that's going to be placed. And it's really a sweet little mini stamp. And always remember, when you go to stamp mini stamps, don't push really hard because it will give you a shadow. So there we go. So the other thing I did for this is I did use the dandelion at the very bottom. I'm going to show that to you. I used that at just the dandelion at the very bottom, and I did heat emboss that. But I'm going to go ahead and put this on here, right here at the bottom. And I'm going to go ahead and use the, I'm going to use the VersaFine Clear Morning Mist because I am going to be putting some sparkle embossing powder on it. Get some of my stuff out of the way. And I think I lost some paper. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead, quickly get that heat embossed, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next step is I use the stencil, and I'm just going to lay that right on top. I'm going to put a little bit of the stencil there and down there. And I am going to be using Dusty Concord. And I'm not going to do that very heavy, just very lightly. And it's just up at the corner. You take a peek, just a little bit more. Okay, and a little bit down here. Great. So that's the look that I'm going for there. And then I'm going to add just a little bit of ink around the edges. Sleeve keeps getting caught on it. There we go. Let's go this way. Okay, so I have that all the way around, and I'm going to add just one more little touch of chipped sapphire to the edge as well. Alright, so the only thing left to do for this is I will color in those little wings, and I will put a little bit of sparkle paint on that. And I will do that in a little bit. But the next thing I wanted to tell you, and I forgot, was when I did the dandelion, so you can see the sparkle on that. I used this embossing stencil called Bridal from Ranger. That's how I added that little bit to the bottom there. So the next thing that we will do is we will make our envelope. And in order to make the envelope, like I said, you just need a piece of square paper, and you want it to be able to fit this size. So again, I'm going to tell you this size is, like I said, roughly 2.5 by 1 3/4. So if you just do a rectangle that size, that will work for this. And this again is about 2 3/4 square. So what you need to do is you need to find out what is the center of your paper. And of course, I don't know what I did with my, oh, there it is. I couldn't find my pencil, it was hidden. So what you need to do is go corner to corner and draw it lightly because you're going to want to erase one of these corners. You just need to find the center. And that's all we really need. So you just need that X in order to make your envelope. So you're going to bring in one side. Now you might be particular about what side that you want to use. I can show you my little envelope there. It doesn't really matter. But if you want a certain part, whatever you want to show up, that's what you got to keep in mind too. But it doesn't matter because these all go in. So you're matching up that corner to that point, and then you fold. And you do the same thing for here. You're matching up that point, and then you fold. You know, it's a little bit different for this, for the whatever one you want to be on the bottom. I'm going to use this one for my bottom. You don't want to fold right if you were to making a line. You want to go up just a little bit so that instead of going on the point, you want to go just beyond the point. You can see about how far I'm going beyond that point. And I'm going to go ahead and hold that up to you so you can see. I am not at the point is down there. So you want to go beyond the point because that way you'll have some space here to glue to your sides. Okay? Now, some people don't like this little point left here. So what you can do is you flip this back around and you just fold in just a tiny bit. Again, you want to make sure you line that point up to make it straight with the line you've already drawn. And I'll show you what I mean. Line up that point as best you can. And then when you flip it forward, it will look like that. Okay? You are not going to be needing this anymore, and so you can just go ahead now and erase it. And now you basically have your envelope, okay? But I wanted to do some embellishing on the envelope, so you got to keep in mind where all this is. So I'm going to keep it like this and put it on my cutting board, and you'll see what I mean. I said cutting board, I meant my stamp platform. So again, I'm going to show this to you. This is the bottom of your envelope, and I want to stamp on that. So I'm just going to keep it just like that, knowing where I'm going to stamp. Now, if there's some reason you're going to be overlapping on this part, you might want to mask that off. If you are going to attach this part to your card, it's not going to matter if it stamps beyond. It will matter here and it will matter here because it will show. So again, I'm just going to do a small enough stamp so that I don't have to mask anything off. But I am going to go ahead and tape this down. And I think you can see what I'm doing. And again, this is the part where the little flap is, so you know what you're doing. So very simply, I'm going to show you again my envelope. You can put anything on this, but I just put those two little stamps. And so the first thing I did was I put my little fairy. I wanted to see how this would look. And that's going to work just great. Just like that. It's super easy. And I did use VersaFine Clear Nocturne. And just carefully stamp these. Or inked them. And set it down carefully. Again, because they're small stamps, don't push hard. So you get a nice impression. And there you go. So technically, we are finished with our envelope. I'm going to show you how I put it together really quickly. and how this will work. And I will also color in the wings on her and add a little bit of sparkle paint. So for this, I just use a little bit of glue. And make sure my glue is going to come out. Yep. Okay. So again, you know where this is. We're going to flip it back over, and this is the part, I erased this part up here, so this is our bottom part. Okay. I'm just going to put a little bit, now you got to be careful again, like I said. I think I'm just going to put it on this part, so I know that I'm not getting it on the inside of the envelope. And you can be really careful with that too. When you go to press it, you can tell. So I'll go ahead and give it a little press. And then I'm going to put my finger in there just to make sure it's not sticking to the inside of the envelope. And now we have our cute little fairy envelope. And we have our little letter to put inside. Now, this is the one I already made previously, because you can see I colored in her wings, and I did put some sparkle paint on there. And that's what I will be doing with this one. So I'm going to show you this again. This fits inside of there. And the thing is, if you don't want it to stay open, you can actually fold this in half and put it in there, and then you could actually fold this down and even put something on there to keep it closed. You could put a little heart, a punched out heart, and that's your cute little fairy envelope and letter that you can send to somebody. So I'm going to go ahead and get prepared for the next step. If you want to put this on a card, stay tuned. Okay, so I decided I am going to make a second video, and I'm going to show you how I made the card to go with the fairy letter. So I just wanted to say thanks for stopping by today, and tomorrow I will have the video showing how I made the easel card. So, and all of the products that I used for today will be in the description below.